Hey everyone, I'm Average, and welcome back to another episode of A Beginner's Guide to Bun. In today's episode, we're going to be checking out two different things. We're going to be checking out bun REPL, read eval print loop. It's very similar to if you were to open up Python in its interpreter on your CLI. I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly, just so you know what I'm talking about. So if we type in bun REPL, we will go into an interactive bun REPL mode, and we can execute JavaScript code here and run it. We will get the evaluation of it as it is a read eval print loop. So if I were to do something like const num equals math.random, and then let's just say times 100, we won't actually need to print that. We actually just get the value right there, and we can use num whenever we want. We can just type in num to get the value of it printed into our console. The other thing I'm going to show you guys in today's video is inside of this folder where I open my bun REPL. This folder has a few files. It has config.json and data.yml. So both of these are files that bun can import natively. And I wanted to show you guys this in bun REPL, I guess, because this was going to be a bit of a shorter video. If I go into my bun REPL and I say something like import config from, open some quotation marks, period slash config.json to show that this is going to be a relative directory. And when we type that in, you'll notice we get our JSON, which is exactly what we are feeding it in the file. And if I were to do something like config.version, we'll get that printed directly to the console. Config.author, same thing. What if I wanted to change a value? If I do config.version equals 0.0.3, you'll notice a couple things. It actually does change when I type in config, but the file itself is still the same. It does not say 0.0.3. So to actually properly rewrite our file, we need to say bun.write config.json, just give it the path of where we want to write it, and then json.stringify, and then we'll put in our config here. And boom. I think we need to await this call. So if we put await at the beginning of it here, you'll notice that the content of the file is now properly updated 0.0.3. It also shows you here how many bytes it wrote to the file. And we can also do a very similar thing with YAML. So let's do import data from, and then we're going to do data.yml. As you can see here, we get our contents in here. This is, I'm not really sure what this was. Honestly, I just asked Gemini to generate me some random data in a YML file, but I do have access to that. And if we open up our data.yml here, you'll notice that the data does actually reflect what we have here in our console. So we have sensor one with the same temperature. Again, if I wanted to, we could do something like, okay, let's do data 0 dot, and then we're going to say error logged equals true. So you'll notice that the actual file still won't change, but if I type in data 0, it does change right there. So we need to do a similar thing. We need to do await.bunWrite, and then we can say slash data.yml, and then we need to do YAML.stringify, and then we feed it our new data variable, just like so. We will, sorry, I put too many parentheses, but we will get this reference error, YAML is not defined. That's because you do still need to import things correctly. So to import YAML, it's pretty easy. We just do import YAML from bun, just like so. And it will actually give us what functions we can use on this YAML object, which we get parse and stringify. So if we wanted to, we could parse YAML as well directly from a file, but we're just going to stringify. And inside of here, we actually get, this does not look right, to be honest with you guys. It looks like it just put the data inside as JSON. That's very weird. I honestly, like, to me, it seems like it's actually stringifying it, right? But not in YAML. This is not YAML. It looks like it stringified it in JSON, I believe, unless this is actually how YAML's. Maybe YAML does accept this format. I don't know too much about YAML. I guess maybe this is okay, but that's not how it originally was. So I'm not really super sure as to, you know, what's going on here. Again, you can do pretty much anything that you could do normally. Like, for example, if I wanted to write a bun file, let's do await.bun.write, and we can say math.random times 100, and we can say math.seal, I believe, and we can actually give it a file. We'll say random num.txt. Boom. We wrote two bytes. We got this random num here. It generated a random number 79. So you can do everything that you could normally do in bun, minus a few things. Obviously, I do believe this does have package resolution. So for example, if I wanted to import something like sharp, I think I can just do import sharp from sharp. Yeah, it will resolve this. this. Okay, so if I give it, like, let's say an image, let me just find an image quickly. So yeah, we'll give it this image of Retail Hell gameplay screenshot, which is from one of my recent streams. It was for the thumbnail I was working on. So let's just do that. Let's call this image.png. And then inside of here, we're going to do sharp, and we can give it our image.jpg right there. So let's say we just want to flip it. Then we can say to file. We're going to do output.png like so. And we can say error info. We are just going to log the info, and I think that should be good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we get our output.png. It is flipped upside down. So yeah, there you go. You can use packages inside of bun REPL. We just use sharp API there from npm. I do want to show you guys all the different kinds of file types you can import. There's so many of them, so I just figured I would do JSON and YAML for this video, but some other ones, you can do TOML. You can just do straight text. You can even do SQLite or things like HTML. You can basically open any file natively in Bun, which I think is amazing. Now, there's also something underscore error, and now if we use that, we will get the very last error that actually ran. So let's say, for example, I throw a new error and I say oopsie. There we go. And I try and output underscore error. We will get that error from before. So that's kind of cool. This is a special variable, so you can't reassign this value. You can't call something underscore error. Watch out for that. This does obviously allow top level await, as you saw before. You can use await or asynchronous methods whenever you want. You can do multi-line input. Let's say I'm defining a function and we're going to call it hello. If I do a opening curly brace, as you can see here, it will add 3 lines, and that's kind of like an indentation. Then I can say console.log and we can say hello, for example. Another enter. All you have to do is press enter, some more lines, and we'll end it off. So as you can see now, we were able to create a multi-line function because it will recognize the curly braces. So that's a context when you can use multi-line. If I say hello, we will get log there. It does return end-defined because obviously there's no return value. There's a few commands. If I type in .help, you can see a list of commands along with key bindings. Something you might want to do is .copy. This will copy I believe the most recent expression. You can save and load REPL sessions, which I think is kind of cool. Oh, .editor, where you can do multi-line stuff, do some really simple stuff. So then I can say Control D and we'll have my variable there. You can do multi-line stuff, just not right out of the get-go. You got to do .editor. If you are curious, I'll leave the docs for this in the description below. There's definitely some other stuff that you can do with this. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'm Average. Have yourself a great day. Bye.